make a move in the ring. You can hit me with a word you fling.
Hey guys, how's it going? This is Nick Atkin on the South China Morning Post in Hong Kong, scmp.com/MMA. This is the post-fight podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about Angela Lee. She's just announced she's pregnant. What does this all mean for One Championship? As usual, I'm joined by Hyon Ko. John, yeah, man, it's some crazy news. Apparently, she's known about this for 6 weeks, but a bit of a bombshell today.
Didn't you interview her like less than 6 weeks ago?
Yes, about a month ago.
Yeah, so was there any telltale signs of her being pregnant, or did she say anything to you like off camera about it?
She didn't say anything to me. She did seem a little bit like, I just put it down to lockdown fatigue, but she wasn't as interested in talking about fighting. So maybe that was a telltale sign. But
all right.
No, man, it's good news for them. Obviously, they announced it on Instagram, Angela and her husband, Bruno Pucci, who's a Brazilian fighter in One Championship. Yep, here are the posts. We've been hiding this secret for about a month and a half now. We finally decided it's time to share this amazing news. I'm officially 11 weeks pregnant, and baby #Pucci Lee is estimated to be due April 21st, 2021. There we go.
Wow.
I like this little shirt. I'm what happened when they cancel sports. Yeah.
Well, they prepared all of this really well. You know, I guess that's like the newer generation. That's what they do. You know what I mean? With announcements and stuff. So it seems like a lot of people doing that. And did they say that they're having a boy or a girl or anything like that? It's just a baby, right?
Here we go. We don't know the gender just yet, but we'll be placing bets soon. Okay. Maybe they'll hopefully not burn down any forests with a gender reveal party.
Exactly. Or, you know, I don't know how they do that nowadays. I have no idea. But hey, congratulations to them. It almost seems like it's long overdue, right? They've been married for a few years now, and Angela Lee has expressed in the past that she does want to have a few kids and have a family, and you know, I wonder what's gonna happen after this. You know what I mean? Like, you see Mackenzie Dern, she got pregnant, she had her baby, and she came back. Actually, it seems like much better than she did before the pregnancy. And maybe that could be the case for Angela Lee. Maybe she might not even come back. You know, we don't know. We don't know what exactly, you know, is going through her mind. But of course, the promotion, the organization wants her to come back. The fans most likely want her to come back. You know what I mean? And because she's only, 24 years old right now?
That's correct, yeah. As you said, she says in this post, this is a dream come true. Becoming a mum has always been my ultimate goal, worth more than any amount of championship gold. And it sounds like they weren't expecting it. Yeah, baby made sure to surprise us just as I was in the best shape of my life. But that's great. I'm very happy for them. Yes, she has always dreamt about this, but like you said, it doesn't have to be the end of her fighting career. I think she could come back just as strong. I feel she'll move up to strawweight now, and the atomweight chapter is probably closed, isn't it?
Not really, because going back to Mackenzie Dern, you know, she was having problems making the strawweight limit before she was pregnant, and then after her pregnancy, seemed like her diet, or I don't know, something changed, and now she makes weight really easily. So there's none of that talk anymore of her moving up to flyweight. So Angela Lee, same thing. You know what I mean? She seemed like in the past that she did have some, you know, trouble getting down to the atomweight limit. So maybe it could be better for her when she returns. I have no idea, but hey, it's always good to move up a weight class instead of, you know, losing the weight that you need to you know, to get down to that limit. But yeah, man, congratulations to them. And what, you know, what happens now to the division? That's the question, right? What happens to the belt? You know, of course, I don't think they're gonna like take the belt from her. You know what I mean? That's not something you would do. So you would have to introduce most likely interim title, and you know the number one contender, who that is. It's Denise Zamboanga. Now, who does she fight to determine who is the interim title holder in the atomweight division? You know, like,
Here's
so
the
if you put up the
rankings.
rankings, let's look at the rankings now.
You're right. Denise number 1, Mengbo number 2. When's the last time Mengbo fought though? I think they could do Denise v Meng, but
I think that's a big possibility, because if you look up Mengbo's record, you know, I mean, she has a pretty decent record. She just doesn't fight too often, and that's the problem. And that's kind of surprising, because she's ranked number 2 behind Denise, right? And to be honest with you, I think Mei Yamaguchi should be ranked number 2. You know, because she's beaten the other girls, and she's been matched up with Mengbo a bunch of times, and they never actually got to fight because, you know, someone pulls out. I think Mengbo pulled out a bunch of times, you know, when they were matched up. So Denise Zamboanga versus somebody, I think that's the fight to make, and it'll probably be easier to make that fight because most of the rest of the roster is not stateside. They're all based in Asia, right? So it'd probably be better for the promotion to just, you know, lock in a championship fight with Denise very soon. That's the problem right there, right? You know, like, we don't know clearly like who would be the front runner to fight Denise for the interim title if they do introduce that. And I'm pretty sure if I'm on Denise's team, I'm gonna be screaming for that, right? That interim title. There needs to be someone holding a belt in that division, and being active and competing. And I think Denise will do that. I think Denise is a girl that would fight every month if she could. So let's get her in there against somebody. Do we give her? I don't know. It's hard to say, but another option could be a tournament. You know, not even having what is it? An interim title, just have a tournament, you know what I mean? Just throw in a atomweight tournament and put Denise in there, put Mengbo.
I feel Denise has earned a title shot at least, so I think asking her to fight in a tournament, she'd probably do it, but it's slightly unfair. She has earned that chance a while ago. She fought again. I know it was a bit of a one-sided fight, but I like more the idea of her against, if it's going to be Mengbo, it's Mengbo. I guess Mengbo's still riding that. She's the only woman ever to beat Zhang Weili in Zhang Weili's first ever fight. I'm sure that's like something they could use. Ago. Yeah, that's something they could market the fight on, right?
They could, you know, that's not something that is, you know, that can't happen. But you know, Denise did earn the title shot a long time ago, and then she did fight somebody that we didn't even know who her opponent was, right? They just came in and threw her in there, and it's understandable because of the COVID situation in Asia. You know, there's 2-week quarantines everywhere you fly to, so you only have so many options when you put fights together. You know, the reason why I like a tournament is because you allow the other fighters to kind of shake out the division a little bit more. You know, you could throw in, you know, I think this is a huge opportunity for Stan Fairtex too, in many ways. You know, like, it allows her to kind of build herself up a little bit, you know, give her some time to fight some of the other girls in the division and focus on MMA. You know, she just recently lost both of her other titles, the Muay Thai and the kickboxing titles. So, you know, I haven't heard anything, and maybe she's talked about it, but I think she should focus on MMA, you know, and I think she'll have a longer future with MMA and leave, you know, the other titles behind, because she could always go back and fight kickboxing, Muay Thai. You know, the MMA is the money maker right there for all the, you know, for this promotion, and for like any other promotion worldwide. MMA is just a bigger market. So yeah, let Stan Fairtex fight and build her name up, and this pregnancy, you know, is going to last for more than a year, you know, like recovery and all that stuff from, you know, from having the baby. This division can grow, you know what I mean? That's what the positive way of looking at it. This division can grow, and yeah, I think, man, they might even put in that Stan Fairtex versus Denise Zamboanga fight for the title, you know? Don't you think that could be a possibility?
Yeah, now you said that, I didn't actually think about Stamp, but that that would make sense. But I think it's unfair for Stamp to jump the queue. She hasn't fought anyone in the top 5 in that division, if I'm correct. They've just kind of been building her up slowly with some far outmatched opponents. So I'd like to see Stamp maybe take on someone in that top 5 if she's serious about MMA. But I think you're right. If she wants to challenge for this title, she's got to focus on it. And I feel she lost her 2 titles this year because she's been spreading herself across, too thin across 3 sports. Maybe it is time to step away from Muay Thai and kickboxing. What more is she going to do in those divisions, right? I think going and winning a belt in MMA, that would be the real history-making thing she could do right now. But this is Denise Sambawanga in her last fight, sorry. It was a bit of a mauling, but
it was.
It's not really a fight you can look at as earning a title shot, is it? Because she was so.
Well, the thing is, she already earned it, right? And
yeah,
that's what people were saying.
She win. That's what I asked Angela about, and she said it doesn't change a thing for me. Denise is still the challenger she was before.
And she gets to make money. You know what I mean, by competing. So it was great for her, get her in competition. But the thing is, like, yes, it's very confusing. Like, I'm very interested to see like who won championship is gonna bring in to fight Denise.
Chevella there, he was like, she's coming for Angela Lee now.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything anymore, right?
Yeah,
Angela Lee's gonna be out for a while now, so
I'm kind of annoyed. I was liking that fight. I think we've talked about it, and we thought Angela would win it, but it had built a little bit of a rivalry, hadn't it? I think now you're right.
They did, and I thought the rivalry will just get bigger and bigger and bigger as we got closer to that fight. You know what I mean? Because it seemed like Angela Lee, she was getting a little bit more. I don't want to say controversial, but she was getting a little bit more loose with what she would say in interviews and stuff. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed her kind of showing another side of herself. You know what I mean? Like, because not everybody's happy all the time. And she, did you recently see that post that she put up about Jenny Wong and,
Yes.
leading up to their title fight? I felt like that was something that was very interesting and it kind of revealed a lot about how competitive Angela Lee is, just insane, competitive, like that Michael Jordan gene, of competitiveness. Like she has that, man, because that whole story, that she explained, it's pretty interesting. And I wonder what Jenny Wong has to say about that, because it seemed like Jenny Wong was kind of talking some trash to Angela Lee, before this fight. And Angela Lee, you could tell, man, she was motivated in many different ways. When you think about that fight, she beat that girl, beat the brakes off that girl, Jenny Wong. And Jenny Wong is a striker. And Angela Lee went in there and just basically just mauled her, just threw them hammers at her. Look at her, just the highlights. But yeah, it was a fun fight to watch.
That's why I'm a bit sad Angela's going to be gone for a while. And, if she doesn't come back, it'll suck, because, yes, she does like to engage in a bit of the trash talk. As she says, talk shit, get hit there. She makes it interesting, man. She's one of the few, one doesn't like to do the trash talk stuff. But Angela, she'll do it. If her opponent gets a bit mouthy, she'll fight back. And I like that about her. But I think one thing I am thinking as well, this kind of makes sense with them throwing Victoria Lee in. That came out of nowhere, and now this maybe makes a little more sense. They knew Angela was pregnant, and they've tried to kickstart the career of Victoria Lee, Angela's 16-year-old sister. Do you think these two are connected in some way?
I don't think so. I feel like this has been in the works for the last couple of years. I'm believing that one championship has been watching Victoria Lee just develop through her high school years. And how long until she graduates? Like, did they even say when they plan on having her fight as a professional?
No idea. I was trying to find out if she can fight in Singapore, and it seems like she could, because there's no governing body, basically. So who knows? She could be before the
in
end of the
Asia,
year.
there's no age limit like for turning pro, right? So in Japan, in Korea right now, there's this one girl that fights for road, and she's only 17 years old, and she's already fought 2 or 3 times professional and is doing really well against women that are like 26, 27 years old, finishing them in the cage. So, I don't underestimate Victoria Lee and her skill set, because I've seen a few videos of her, and she seems like she trains everything, you know what I mean? And from such a young age, which makes her so dangerous. And look at her. She's the same size as Angela Lee. If you look at the picture, right? It's not like she's really small. She's basically the same size. Of course, she's going to develop and get stronger as she moves along. But like Chatri said in that post, that Victoria Lee is way better than Angela Lee at when she was that age, at 17 or 16 years old. So I'm interested to see when they allow her to come and fight her first professional fight, and who she faces in her first professional fight. Will they give her someone that has somewhat of a name, or are they going to give her some person that has at least like 5 or 6 fights, like a 500 record? What do you think? Do you think they're going to throw her in against somebody that is somewhat established, or do you think they're going to give her somebody that is I don't want to say up to her level of skill set, but someone that is still trying to build themselves up?
Oh, absolutely. They'll throw her in. I think just with opponents they know she can beat. They know they've got a star on their hands. They won't want to rush it against into the deep end. Look at what they've been doing with Stamp.
Mm-hmm.
She's 5-0 or 4-0 in MMA now. I don't think any of her opponents other than B have given her any trouble. B did her best, but the others around were just not competitive. I think they know what they've got, especially the star power of the Lee family kind of transcends what any other one championship homegrown stars have been able to achieve, I think. Other than Ong Lan Sang, maybe they're the most popular fighters they've got on the roster, I think. So I can just see this being connected. I did ask Victoria, about the divisions. Is it going to be awkward if you're fighting in the same division as your sister? Eventually you will meet her. I feel like this is connected in some way, that they're now decided the time is right. Angela's going to be gone for a little while. Victoria can go after that title. And then if Angela comes back, maybe she can go for that strawweight title. That trilogy with the Panda is always going to be there. We'll see what happens with Panda and Tiffany Teo.
You make a good point right there. If Victoria comes in and she's fighting at atomweight, Angela, when she comes back, she goes up to strawweight.
They can have 3 belts, 3 siblings.
Yeah, and also, like with the Panda, if she does lose to Angela Lee and loses the belt, she could actually move up, to flyweight. So I don't feel like there's a big issue right there, and and if the Panda continues fighting at strawweight, they could continue fighting each other. All of those fights have been incredible. So why not have them fight like 5 more times?
The problem with one is they've only got the atomweight and strawweight women's divisions, right? And I was talking to
they
Matt
can open
Scott.
up.
Yeah, well, we were thinking they need. We were talking about how UFC should open up an atomweight division, because think about how many awesome girls could drop down to that. But no, I would be up for that. If they want to make another division, I'm all for it. But I do think, if you have Christian with a belt, Angela with a belt, Victoria with a belt, there is another sibling, I think Adrian, he's 14. I'm sure he's going to be following the same path. It's a good photo op, isn't it? It's a good storyline. It was already cool enough with Angela and Christian. But I think Angela has been passing the torch to Victoria over the last couple of weeks with the announcement. She's been pushing her and putting her over on social media, saying she's better than I was at that age, as you said, as Chatri said. I feel she knew this was all part of the decision to bring Victoria in. I think they're going to push her hot out of the gate, probably give her a few winnable fights from the start, and then maybe a top 5, because 16 is pretty young. But as you said, you've seen clips of her. I've seen clips of her. She's definitely got skills. I don't know when you want to pull the trigger on it, but the title, she told me that's definitely the goal. So who knows when it's too soon to start that process. I don't know. It feels like you don't want to go too quick with her. I don't know. How would you do it?
I would give her at least 5 fights. You know,
Yeah.
she could run the table with 5 fights. Like every single fight, she goes up in level and faces just a little bit better competition. And if she could run that and win 5 in a row, why not give her a title shot? You know what I mean? The divisions aren't like they're 15, you know, stacked women just waiting in line to fight for the titles. You know, she could run up and make a run. Hey, it would be so incredible if she could get a title before the age of 18. That
Yeah.
would be the story of the year. That would surpass anything Angela Lee or Christian Lee has done. You know, and they've done a lot at such a young age. So yeah, Victoria Lee, man, that wrestling, that's the key thing right there. I feel like she has grown up wrestling, like straight folk wrestling, you know, American wrestling, and I think that's going to play a huge role in what kind of style she brings, because we haven't seen her fight, you know what I mean? So we don't know how she fights, but she's probably been part of many camps. Angela Lee's championship defending her title, you know, champ camps, and she's probably been sparring partners with Angela. So I wonder what those sparring sessions look like. I wonder how they have went in the past to like have your sisters say those, you know, to praise you like that on social media. But I feel like a fighter that she can face right now is that girl that Denise Zamboanga just fought. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of level that you'd want her to face in her first couple of fights, right? To gauge, to have her get comfortable in the ring or the cage. And then after, like in her third fight, I could see her facing like a Rika Ishige, like that type of fighter, right? Someone that has some experience, but a rocky record. And then after that, you know, you catapult her and have her fight one of the top 10 or top 5 or whatever you want to do. But yeah, it all depends on like how confident she is as she moves along with her career and how much one championship wants to push her. But a lot of things can change in a year.
I think because Angela's going to leave a huge hole in terms of the marketability. She's one of one's biggest stars. Surely she's like the poster girl. I feel they're going to try and push Victoria the same way, and this is why. Yeah, I keep going back to this. This is why they haven't rushed it, but they made sure to line up this announcement before Angela revealed she was pregnant. I think they're just going to give her the Angela push, and yeah, if she's even better than Angela in the ring, then that's even better for everyone involved. She could become the face of one championship, as you said, if she wins a title before she's 18 or something like that. And yeah, it all makes sense now. I think the pieces are falling together for me.
Well, the thing is also, like, on top of Victoria getting signed, they signed Supergirl and Wonder Girl. That is like, I think they're pushing really hard with these young females, right? That are not just faces. They can fight. They got skills. They're experienced, you know, well beyond how old they are, you know what I mean? And they've shown it. Like, you've seen Wonder Girl fight, you've seen Supergirl come in and get the knockout. Now you're gonna see Victoria come in. It's like the next wave, right? The next generation is coming in for the women. And there's also what's the Japanese girl, the one that was supposed to fight B, but then that fight was canceled?
Oh, Itsuki Hirata.
Exactly. Like, she's part of that wave too. She's really young, right? And still developing. Man, it's exciting to me, you know what I mean? Like, one championship, they have, you know, the kickboxing, you know, they signed so many of the top names. Muay Thai, they got all the big names so far, right? We've seen all them fight. And now they're developing kind of like the women's side of the MMA and also the kickboxing and stuff like that. But yeah, it's like, man, they're growing, you know, and you thought, and everybody thought, like, man, they're not gonna put on any shows, but they can't grow. But man, it seems like they're growing without even putting on that many shows, and now they're starting to push the shows, and they're starting to pump them out more and more frequently, and I expect all these women to come out and just shine on the stage, and it's gonna be fun to watch. You know, the next year while Angela is out of action, there's gonna be a lot of changes in these divisions, and when she comes back and decides like where she wants to fight, like what weight class, and like and actually and maybe even who she wants to fight in her return fight, everybody's going to be in totally different spots in the rankings, just in stature. And we got Stamp, we got Denise, we got Victoria, you know, you got what is it, Gina Inyang, she's also going to come back too. You know, Mei Yamaguchi's still, you know, still floating around there, and Meng Bo, you know, if she can actually get a fight in, you know, this year, we're gonna see some big changes, you know, and it's gonna be fun to watch. Yeah, Victoria, I'm just interested to see how they push her along.
Well, I'm gonna make a bold prediction. I don't know how bold it is, but I think we're gonna see Victoria before the end of the year fighting in one championship. Obviously, there are some big announcements coming. I think on Monday, I've been told. Don't think I can really divulge much of it. We've talked about it though, John. It is some exciting stuff coming up, isn't it, soon for one championship?
Yeah, definitely huge news. You know, in the rumor mill that are just rumors. So we, you know, there's nothing we can say, and but it's going to be some major moves. But you know what? One thing that I'm wondering about, I'm not wondering about those rumors. I'm wondering about like when Eddie did his interview with Andy, and he was talking about how he's going to fight this year, and it could possibly be in the U.S. I wonder what's the status on that? You know, what's the status on one championship? You know, putting on a show stateside, because if they do put on a show stateside, there's no need for quarantines. Like they could just fly and get tested and then compete, like the UFC does, right? UFC flies in guys 24, 48 hours later, once they're clean and ready to go, they can fight, you know, in a couple of days. So have you heard anything, Nick, about Indian reservations or secret
Nothing.
locations in casinos?
Nothing. All I've heard is, I think, trying to dance around saying anything, but I think one is going to do what the UFC is doing and staying in one place for a certain amount of time, like a protracted 2 months or 6 weeks. So when they do announce the location of their upcoming shows, I think you'll find they're going to be there until the end of the year, because it makes sense, you know, with
The
quarantining, the bubble, yeah. So who knows? Maybe they're going to do some kind of thing in the US. I'd really highly doubt it, but I just think there's too many things they've got to get done with commissions, and unless you're right, if we go on an Indian reservation or something like that. But if I'm Eddie, would you feel you're being a little bit pushed to the side if they're like, you can do this show in the US while all our champs are going to come over to this place in Asia, and we're going to continue like it's business as usual, but you can be like the guinea pig for the US show? Is that, I don't know, maybe that's cool to be the first to headline the first one championship show in America. I don't even know who's going to fight. I know Christian's in camp, and I think I know his opponent, but Christian's not going to be fighting in the US, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he's fighting in the US. Yeah, you know, like you said, one championship is going to create this bubble. I'm all for it. You know, like the UFC has shown us that it's possible, and you can run shows smoothly doing that. And they spent a lot of money on securing everything down and having everybody safe. And I don't think anybody's tested positive on Fight Island, to be honest with you. Everything's been before they have taken off, right? Or people have tested positive on in Vegas, but not on Fight Island in Abu Dhabi, which is a good sign. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, Eddie Alvarez being the guinea pig, I'm pretty sure he's all down for that, because it's a historic event if they get to pull it off, right? He'll be if he's the main event, you know, if he's the co-main event, whatever, it's going to be part of history to be, you know, the first ever to have a show. And you got Mighty Mouse, you got Moraes over there, you got Martin, you got, you know, Ong, you got a lot of fighters. You know, you got what's his name, Tarzan,
Bibiana Fernandez,
Ariel, Bibiana Fernandez. You got Ariel Sexton is over there. You got a bunch of guys. Gary Tonin is over there. Ton Lee's over there. there's a lot of fighters over stateside, and there's guys that they've signed recently that haven't fought or competed in one championship yet that are still waiting. You could put those guys on the prelims and assign a couple other guys, but there's always the one fight contract, so I don't think it's impossible, but yeah, if you look at it in a negative way, yeah, it's like, we're testing you out as the first over there. But if you look at it a positive way, it's like you're being part of history. It's like Bellator Paris, right? There has been no shows in France, and Bellator is going to Paris in a couple of weeks, and they got a bunch of guys. You got MVP headlining the event, so like it's part of history, and that's what it is. I think Eddie's going to be part of history, and he's going to fight, but he's not going to fight Christian Lee.
Well, I think DJ would be on that card too. And I think people will watch that, definitely. I don't think DJ is going to fly to Asia. I think you spoke to him and he said absolutely not at the moment. I wouldn't quarantine for 2 weeks.
He holds all the cards. DJ holds so many cards in his hand, right? Like, and he's accomplished so much that, like, and he's so financially stable that there's nothing, there's not. He would never take a risk that's unnecessary, right? And he's not going to spend time away from his family, because it seems like his family is really important to him. Of course, family is important to everybody, but for him, it's really important to be around his kids, and he doesn't want to be away from them for long periods of time. And that's what he said to me when I talked to him. He's like, I told him, like, hey, would you be interested in going to Singapore and being there for a while so he could fight? And he's just like, he was very hesitant about that, like going out there and spending so much time.
Well, just trying to see what one has reposted all this Angelo Lee stuff. Trying to see if they've announced anything yet. No, they haven't. We know what's coming next week, though. It's One Championship Reign of Dynasties, October 9th. I just spoke to Josh Tonner, who's going to headline against Sam A. Gayangadao. We've also got Reese McLaren. Who's Reese fighting again?
Some guy from Evolve, Tolatov or something like that.
Oh, Toivonen.
Yeah.
Alexei Toivonen, yeah. Just making up people. Okay.
Should we announce it right now that we're going to do
yeah.
That's
cool. Yeah, so I'm just trying to find the card quickly. Why don't you take it while I tap this into the computer?
Well, so the next event, what was the event called? One Championship, what?
The Reign of Dynasties.
Okay, the Reign of Dynasties.
Like Game of Thrones, something.
Yeah, the Reign of Dynasties, aka the Game of Thrones, in a secret location that we're not able to announce right now. But what we'll be doing, starting with that event, is we're going to be doing a watch party, and what we'll do is we'll be doing during the show, we'll be doing somewhat of a similar thing, like how Joe Rogan would do the Fight Companion, but we'll be doing it for all the One Championship shows. So for you guys that are watching, tune into it, be involved in the chat, put your questions up there. We'll answer anything that you guys have, any question. There's nothing off limits, we're going to commentate through and try to make it more interesting, and then watch along with us and have some fun, man, and interact. I think interaction is the best. So please tune in, and we'll be announcing that on our social medias. We'll put up the links up there with the post and everything. So yeah, tune into that. It'll be me, Nick, and some guests. We're gonna have guests on there, and it could be a fighter, it could be a coach, it could be another member of the MMA media. It's always a surprise, but it'll be always someone that you could interact with and have fun.
Could see the return of Leaping Leon Jennings. Who knows? Yeah. Tried to track him down for this podcast, but he wasn't answering. I think he's busy out running, something like that. He loves to run. All right.
Running for the vegan restaurants.
Running for the vegan restaurants, yeah. Well, yeah, we'll break down that card as well next week. Maybe Monday or Tuesday. Anyway, I guess we should leave it there. Cheers, John, as always. I hope everyone enjoyed this. Yeah, and do check back for that on Friday. Should be fun. Could go either way, couldn't it? I hope it's as fun for you guys as it will be for us. But yeah, we appreciate you watching and see you all again next week, hopefully. Cheers.